Well, that was the budget top 5 Tuesday. I had to hastily throw together a new wheel. There we go. Because I lost the original one. I don't know where it's gone. It's disappeared. So I had to make a new one. And I didn't have time to do it properly. It's not got a nice transparent background or anything. But it works. It works. So today's Top 5 Tuesday is cartoon characters. How exciting is that? It's very difficult because I can think of 1,000,001 cartoon characters. I know who's going to be number one. I know for sure. It's just the rest. It's a bit of a problem. Just trying to think of some of my favourite cartoons that I've enjoyed over the years, because there have been many. I love cartoons. I'm not ashamed to say it. I think I'm going to put number 5 as... Oh gosh, why is this so hard? All I can think of is Looney Tunes characters, that's why. Drawing a blank. Drawing a complete blank. It might just have to be Looney Tunes characters, because that's all I can flipping think of. Well, there is, of course, the massive Hanna-Barbera stable as well, which, I mean, to be frank, most of those are kind of dross. You know, in fact, I'm going to put number 5 as Johnny Bravo, because the character himself is brilliant. He's this very manly dude with a very manly haircut. He's Duke Nukem, kind of. He's got a very big neck and a very small head, and he's got a bit of a Dorito body. I think the brilliant thing about him is the fact that he's kind of a pastiche of all these really cool and tough guys who always get the women, you know? They always get the boobs, like Duke Nukem does. Except he never does. And that's the brilliant part of the character, because he's got a level of level-headedness in that he can perform tasks in general, and he is, you know, he's pretty cool. He just goes to show that, you know, a body isn't everything, and that just being this cool guy isn't everything. And so, you know, I do like Johnny Bravo as a character. The actual cartoon, bit dated. It's been a while since I last watched it, but last time I watched it, didn't really do much for me. But anyway, number 4, I am going to say... Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. My mind is going to him from Powerpuff Girls, one of the stronger cartoon villains, because the fact is, for a kid's show, him is this horrifyingly brutal villain who just, like, is you wouldn't see him as out of place in a horror film, for example. And what the heck even is he? He's just this creature. Well, I guess that's why he's called him, because nobody knows how to describe him. Like I said, it's been a while since I watched Powerpuff Girls. And again, unapologetically Powerpuff Girl fan. Genius show, absolutely fantastic. And a lot of the villains in it are kind of just like these buffoons. Like Mojo Jojo, he's an idiot. But then you get to him, and him just, like, he doesn't mess around. Proper villain. Proper good villain. And, I mean, Powerpuff Girls is just such a great cartoon that we've got to pick at least one from there, you know? Number 3, I'm going to go for Blue Regard Q Kazoo. I absolutely loved Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I thought it was genius, because you can just do anything you want with it. But the fact is that they didn't, like, go overboard with the idea of, oh, they're all imaginary friends. It somehow remained a grounded and, you know, relatable. I'm not going to say realistic, because it wasn't. Remember the layout of the house, for example. But relatable, deeply relatable, I felt. Even though I never really had an imaginary friend when I was younger, it spoke to me, did the show. But I'm not talking about the show itself, I'm talking about Blue. Blue, who is the epitome of a character who... It's one of the staples of cartoons. Somebody told me that years ago, a guy called Hugh Rain, who does some of the Beano comics, as well as a lot of greetings cards and stuff. He explained to me that one of the best things you can do with a comedy duo is to have essentially two idiots, and one of them knows they're an idiot and one of them doesn't. And Blue is the one that doesn't. He is confidently wrong, and that is it's one of my favourite kinds of characters, you know. Somebody who doesn't know that what they're doing is completely off base and is not going to work ever in any world, but they don't know that, and they don't really care that they don't know that, and it makes for some good antics. And Blue, well, Blue's also got the I mean, he never really has any redemption arc ever. He has like 5 seconds of redemption and then he's back to being Blue again. Also, the design of the character is fantastic. He's just a blob, but a very articulate and very well animated and very characterful blob. Yeah, I like Blue. Blue's a good character. Number 2, it's gonna have to be. There's only one person I can pick for this. Obviously, this fella. You might be thinking, huh? Number 2, and you've got a teddy of him. Why isn't he number 1? There's a reason. But Tom, I mean, the cartoon, it's my favourite cartoon, I'll tell you that. For free, you can have that one. I don't use it as any of my security questions or anything, so you can have it. At least I don't think I do. Tom is a misunderstood character because, you see, Tom and Jerry, who's the instigator every single time? It's always Jerry, who ends up facing the repercussions for Jerry and his torment. This guy. Tom is misunderstood. Also, it's International Cat Day, and we're going to have a cat. The other reason is that Tom and Jerry is my favourite cartoon, so again, it's got to be Tom. And Tom is, again, he's another confidently wrong sort of character. And the fact that he says so much without... I'm not going to say there's no dialogue at all in Tom and Jerry, because there's tidbits, and there was this one episode where everybody talked all the way through. It was horrible. It didn't really work at all, and that's why they only did it for one episode, I guess. There are minor bits of dialogue with Tom and Jerry, but they're very precisely placed. There was that one phase where Tom kept going, "Don't you believe it?" That was weird. But you know, there's bits and pieces. He sings sometimes, and he does that "ow" sort of scream. That was my Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's Tom. He's also Blue. He's a cat. Number 1, Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny. The reason why Bugs Bunny is number 1 is because he makes me laugh. More than any other cartoon character. I think it's the way he speaks. And the thing is, I am a huge advocate for, you know, less dialogue or no dialogue cartoons and shows even. And I mean, there's way too much dialogue in adverts, for example. They're a great example of where there's just too much. Looney Tunes, on the other hand, is an example of when a lot of dialogue is done right. And Bugs uses so many weird mannerisms and mispronounces. I mean, I love... There's something that tickles me about just mispronouncing words. He says things like bon voyage, for example. Ignoramus, I think, came up in one. Mirage, stuff like that. And I don't know if people in New York talk like that or did in the 30s, but he does. He invented, or indeed coined, the phrase maroon for an idiot. Also the phrase Nimrod for an idiot. And in fact ultramaroon, which does not get used enough. I think the one issue that I have with Bugs is the fact that he wins too much. I feel like his cartoons are better when there's an even playing field. Or a more even playing field. I mean, I don't mind that he wins. He just, like, when he wins every single time, it's not quite as good. And when he's up against Yosemite Sam, is probably the best examples of that because, you know, Sam just falls for everything. I think probably the the best example I can think of is baseball Bugs. It feels very much like an even playing field in that one. Then, of course, Bugs is never the instigator. He's always, of course, you realise this means war. That sort of deal. Yeah, it's never his fault. He just somebody messes with him and he takes it far too far, and it's genius. Actually, perhaps the best Bugs Bunny situation is the trilogy of Duck Rabbit deal. There were 3 of them, and they were all brilliant, even though it was the same joke over and over again. Somehow they made it work. And Daffy. I mean, Daffy's another confidently wrong, but he's very loud about it. Side note, early Daffy, way better than later Daffy. Because Daffy is confidently wrong and Bugs knows that he's wrong, he is like, it's really easy for him to mess with him. I don't know. I like Bugs. I'm a Bugs fan. I don't care. He's one of the biggest cartoon characters in the world. He's probably on everybody's number 1 list, but whatever. I like Bugs. He makes me laugh, and that's the key bit. So that's my top 5 cartoon characters. I've talked for far too long now. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Tell me your favourite cartoon characters, and I will see you tomorrow.
That's all, folks.
If you asked me to do my top 5 least favourite characters, Porky Pig would be at the very, very bottom.